We are back. Okay? We never went anywhere. We always gather. In fact, we gather daily to encourage, equip, and empower free thinkers and open thinkers. We invite you for the next 50 minutes into an open-minded space, into a deconstructed space, into a space where we can hold up some thoughts and ideas and see where there's resonance. I'm Dr. Flo, not telling you what I heard, but what I know. What I know is that you're loved and lovable. You've always been loved and lovable, and you're going to be loved and lovable for the rest of your life, and I can't change that. No one on this stage can change that. It's a fact. Jack. And I spend all of my waking hours encouraging, equipping, and empowering people to put their time, talent, and treasure into good trouble and love in action. One of the co-conspirators of this joy revolution is that face even brighter than it was a mere seconds ago.
I had an hour and a half to get the light on the computer, folks. The light wasn't on the computer. It is charged, though. I did plug it in today.
It is,
So it shouldn't go out.
she's so much more, but she's the den mother of her house and also the den mother of LIA. Y'all welcome Tara Priolo.
I'm Tara Priolo. I'm your resident Black, biracial, multi-passionate musician. I talk about the ish that nobody wants to talk about and push you to do the same, including making Dr. Flo. I can't make Dr. Flo do anything, but I pretend to make him come to this podcast weekly. He actually likes
thrilled to be here. It's my accent. It is a
thrill. That's how you know it's the truth. The accents, when the accents come out, including the Minnesotan one and the Russian one, okay?
It's a thrill to be here with you every week, Tara Priolo.
Oh, lordy, chicken porgy.
Sincerely, and if you're out there on threads and on social media and you'd like to be a guest on The View, Deconstruction Junction, we would love to have you here. We've got 3 other slots for guests to stop by and call in and make their voices heard in the world. This is Deconstruction Junction, though, so this is not for closed-minded people. This is for those of you who are open to talking about how religion is landing on you, how spirituality is landing, how the things that the government's doing are landing on you, how peaceful or disruptive your personal world is. We talk about all the ways in which people are seeing the world and the way in which we see the world here. And the more people that are in the room, including those like Jimmy Jams who are over on TikTok and Instagram and beyond, the more people who are present, Tara's waving at you over on camera too. Jimmy Jams, you're loved and lovable. The more people who are in these spaces with us, sharing their ideas and rolling them around in the sandbox with us, the more of a generative experience we're going to have. But we're going to be here for a fun time today, not a long time. So let's
jumping in. I actually chose short videos today, and you know how we were talking in the room this morning.
Stop mourning institutions. Stop mourning systems. Stop with this institution has been dismantled so quickly. We're lost without it. We're lost without this institution. We're lost without this system. The reason why these institutions can be dismantled with a stroke of a pen is because they were already so embedded with oppressive systems of government that it's that easy. Do you really think an institution truly dedicated to marginalized people, truly dedicated to uplifting people, to empowering people, can be dismantled like that because a man signs his name on a piece of paper? Do you really think that's how that works? We have been so institutionalized in our thinking. We have been so brainwashed into believing that there is a government entity that's going to save us, that's going to pull us out of this, that anyone but us doing the actual work is going to get us free, that we are mourning institutions instead of the people impacted, instead of people who have always been impacted by fascism in this country. It is important that we recognize the way people are impacted, that we help people be able to withstand, we help people be able to fight, but stop fighting for these institutions that don't want to fight for themselves and don't want to fight for us. I'm begging of you, stop mourning institutions. Stop mourning systems. Stop with this institution has been dismantled so quickly. We're lost without it. We're lost.
The only people who are believing in these institutions, Praolo, are people who benefit from them still. A tenured professor at a college has to believe in paid educational programs because that's what's funding his bacon.
Correct. I would add to this, as Dr. Flo is moving there, that I actually think that this dismantling is an opportunity. I don't, we spend a lot of time collectively, spend a lot of time being very comfortable with the way things are. And we don't really think about, here we go again, we don't really think about what's beyond, right, of the position that we are in. In Love and Action Network, we do. We spend hours daily dreaming beyond where we are and dreaming beyond capitalism and dreaming beyond white nationalism and dreaming beyond colonialization, which is not a word. It's colonization. In case anyone was wondering, I know I put an extra syllable in it. Okay, just stop. Anyway, I do know that we sit in comfort and I think as creatures, and this is why when we start talking about uncomfortable emotions, people don't really love to come in the room. But the fact is that all of us have uncomfortable emotions and we're going to have to talk about it somewhere to get over it. And so actually, while I believe that some of these institutions were an attempt at making the world better, and maybe there was good intention behind it, maybe not, that the dismantling of these is the question, and like Ijeoma is saying, we should talk about the people harmed by it, most harmed by it, which is almost always Black and brown people, right? It's almost always some marginalized identity. But we should also be talking about what else we could put in place. Because the fact is that the Department of Education, which Ijeoma is referencing here because Trump signed an executive order to dismantle it yesterday, the fact is that education isn't working as it stands in the United States. So why not use this as an opportunity to have a conversation about the teachers that are overwhelmed with the number of students that they have to teach? Why not have a conversation about how Black and brown schools are notoriously underutilized and underrepresented inside of public education? Why not have a conversation about what it would look like if we had a Hillman Talk University? Why not use this moment to have that conversation instead of trying to fight for institutions that don't protect us anyway and don't work for us anyway? That's all.
Love and Action Academy is certainly going to be a thing. I'll teach you what a dotted half note is my damn self.
Right.
And we don't have to complain about how tired the teachers are. The teachers who've been in the school systems for a year or 2 years or 3 years or 4 years, they're bolder than me. I'm not going in there full time for a single day. So I'm not trying to even push them down, but we can supplement so many different things. And the kids were already struggling to make their test numbers They were already unable to read because they're getting so much social media and audiovisual content, and like there's a whole disintegration that was happening for decades of our current educational system. And now they're just removing the money from it. That's a bit evil. Because I don't feel that everyday Americans are thinking, about alternative education methods.
Right.
We are, because we're educators and coaches and trainers and facilitators. We talk about this shit every day. Really. All every day. It's like but like, I don't think that for the mom who's been using the Department of Education and school systems as a glorified daycare system and an abdication of responsibility to actually train up a child properly to be able to read and be a productive and loving member of society. These things are important to think about. So there's a shakeup happening. I wanted to talk about God-fearing people today. I need y'all to let me know in the chat over on TikTok or Instagram or wherever you're hanging out. Maybe you're with us on YouTube and Facebook. I do see that person. Thank you for watching. And thank y'all for listening back on Spotify and Apple Podcast and Google Podcast, and also watching over on YouTube and Substack. You're loved and lovable. I hear a lot of people talking about looking for God-fearing partners, wanting to be a God-fearing person. This language was thrown around in my childhood as well. And I want to present the idea today that we should not be fearing anything that we don't fully understand. That includes people, that includes energies, that includes higher powers. If you don't understand a black person, for example, you shouldn't fear that person. They've not done anything positively to you or negatively to you. It's kind of a neutral energy, this person, if it were a black person or a trans person, loved and lovable. You wouldn't want to necessarily fear this person, right? Because you don't know them fully. You don't know the true inner workings of them and what makes their heart happy and what makes their heart sad. It's kind of personal to them. It's very individual, if you see where this is going. So because if I wouldn't fear another, then would I and want to fear God? And I think that a lot of people who use the God-fearing language, it's because they're institutionalizing God as a whipping post situation. Where and this is where I come from, y'all, which is why I'm talking about it today on the podcast. Because I used to think, because of just common errors or mistakes in my life or things that didn't go right, that God was out to get me. That God was like the boogeyman under the bed. And if I didn't do everything the right way and I kept doing things the wrong way, this God that I needed to fear was going to be punitive and punish me. Some days I didn't feel like I was going to live through the day because I was so sinful. Because I liked sweets and men.
Okay, so we're going to watch the second episode of Charms tonight because it actually has a little bit of something to do with this, which is interesting. It's wait, have you you've seen the second episode, I think.
No, I dedicated my life to knowing that as I watch this through with you and Poppy, I'm going to also read the synopsis on Wikipedia so I don't piss y'all off.
You're not pissing me off at all.
I know what's happening with the storyline. I'm okay with
For me, it's very similar to Grey's Anatomy. It's a drama. It's anyway, so anyway, the whole thing is like, obviously they're witches, and one of them is scared to go into a church because
Wow, I've seen
supposedly
this.
God is going to smite them.
It's
right?
Piper that's scared. She talks to that hot priest.
Yes, the blackety black one. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
He's
yeah.
so cute. Poppy Water. Yeah, it was
He's cute.
Yeah,
He's
he
cute.
is. Yes.
He's cute.
But it
and-
thunders before she touches the doorknob, and then she runs
Yeah,
away.
then she runs away. Yeah, and it's kind of like, I don't know. It's like it's a funny scene, but I feel like it happens like a lot. Like in Doctor Who, there's a scene like that. Of course, with Doctor Who, it's because of the weeping angels, and that is actually scary. But that has nothing to do with God. It has nothing to do with God, and everything to do with these aliens that are the gargoyles on the churches.
Okay, so do you think God is an alien?
Piper.
You think God? I mean, I'm here now. Do you think God is an alien? Furthermore, because I'm me, do you think? First question, serious question: is God an alien?
Okay.
Second question is, if God is an alien, is he alien to some of us?
Here's what I think. Here's my non-answer answer. As I do.
I love it.
As I do.
I really do.
I believe that people believe that they need to be in control. And when they find something that is unexplainable to them, they automatically put a word on it. And I think that there are a lot of unexplainable things that happen on this planet that we just so happen to call Earth. Okay. And by that, I mean, the whole belief that there aren't other beings in the world is kind of crazy. That's a crazy belief. That's cray cray. Okay.
You say the belief that there are not beings in the world.
There aren't other planets that have life. Okay.
Oh,
I think that's a weird belief.
We Poppy Water talk about this all the time. I think that the other planets that have human-like life forms are more sophisticated than us.
Mayhaps, or mayhaps not. Mayhaps they are living the same progress of the life that our humans did, right?
Do you believe Poppy's so funny. Do you believe in for those of you watching the film version of this, he came into the room and went, other world is like a Wakanda situation or something. I guess that's what he's asserting.
Okay.
What I'm asserting is, do you believe that in this like alt Earth that there is other Terra living life?
I totally believe in like the
parallel universe.
Idea, and that we're living on different timelines, and there's like a Terra and a Flo and a Poppy and a Angie, like in these different timelines that may or may not know each other, and that's actually like planetary alien life. Like, okay, there was a whole podcast on this, and it's called "And That's Why We Drink." And I'll have to find the episode. But
how do you go on this limb, but can't get into the Sky Daddy we're going to talk about later? How do you reconcile the fact that you could talk about parallel Poppy and parallel Angie and not talk
because
about
that's something
God?
tangible. Like I don't believe that
parallel Poppy and parallel Angie are not tangible. We only know one.
They're tangible to me. It's tangible because the deja vu that I was talking about in the room this morning.
Yes.
If you were paying attention, you might have been doing other things.
No, so today I'm honestly going to try. The issue that I have is that when I give advice back to people day after day after day, I turn into what they call in Spanish a sabelo todo, a know-it-all. People project back onto me that I think I'm better. So by me sitting there and just listening and taking you in, I hear so much more about your life, and I don't have to know all the answers.
Well, yeah, and we could swing the pendulum back to the middle and ask people if they want feedback or not. But anyway, that's.
But then we end up sitting there for 2,000 days.
Well, we do that. Well, anyway, that's neither here nor there. I believe in separate timelines because of this podcast that's called "And That's Why We Drink," and M talked about it once, and it was fascinating. Like the idea that, like, okay, we've talked about this, I feel like, on this podcast before. Do you believe in ghosts? And if so, do you believe that ghosts are living? Are they in a parallel to us, or are they trapped in the same time loop from the past and we just happen to see in to the time loop? Or is it a parallel world that's happening that every once in a while the veil comes down to? And that conversation on that podcast blew my whole mind. And I was like, wait, what do I actually believe? So I think
what do you and your ghost Mythbusters watching husband, what's it called? Ghost? What does that show y'all?
Adventures.
Yeah.
Zach Bagans.
Yes. Where do the Praolos and their ghost adventures land in this?
Well, I believe that ghosts are real. I think that show is fake.
How do you believe? I need to someone write me in askdrflo@gmail.com, askdrflo@gmail.com, or leave me a message at 404-585-1278 on the website, because I need to know what the overlap is of people who believe in ghosts but don't believe in God.
I don't believe in God not being
because God is one of the biggest ghosts there is.
Yeah, I don't think God is a ghost. I think
God is a ghost.
No.
God's not a ghost.
God is a thing that some dude made up to control the people in his community that people just happen to believe in the same way that the Greeks made up a whole mythology, in the same way that the Romans made it up, in the same way that the Norwegian people, whatever that one is, like it's
God. To you, God has a little label in the T-shirt that says "made."
Yeah, like, and the same thing with the Egyptian gods, right? Like there are reasons, and African gods and things like this. Like
their mythology turned to deity.
Right. And so I don't believe that God, like, in the God that is like, I created the heavens and the earth. That's just something.
You don't believe in the seventh day he rested.
Things.
You don't believe. Oh, somebody's playing me a sermon background.
A little more, please.
Yeah, so I was about to say, I was about to hit into the sermon, and then I got back up. I said, you don't believe that on day 1 through 6 he created the heavens and the earth, and on the seventh day he rested?
I believe that humans like explanation, and like you were talking about, like the greatest fear is the fear of the unknown, right? And we have a lot of unknowns. We have a lot of unexplainable things. We have there could be people living under the water, like in the second Black Panther movie. Okay, there could be people down there. We don't know. We don't know, child. It could be a parallel universe. Okay.
You think there's people living under the water? Drop a one in the chat over on TikTok or Instagram.
You don't think Atlantis
living under the water? Angie, do you think there's people under the sea?
So anyway, I think that people fear God, the entity that they call God, because they fear themselves.
We talked about the sea, and we're getting Jaws. Like that was actually.
We're actually moving up the piano now. I have to move the bench because otherwise we're going to whack our heads. But we're walking along the piano like this.
I can see we're coming from the left hand and to the right. We're hitting about middle C as we're coming towards middle C.
We are currently playing, yes, A, B, and middle C.
A, B, and middle C.
Yes.
This time we know we have a musical baby because that's where we start, folks. Wow. Yeah. So I don't want to believe in a fearing God thing. I don't know what's the logic of making up something. I don't know what's the benefit of believing in something that is going to be out to get you. I don't want to do that kind of spirituality anymore.
Okay. Again, back to the control. I think that people think that fear is something to do. And if they fear something, that is an activity, right? It is something that they are doing. It is something that they are protecting. It is something that they are controlling. It is something to occupy their brain space rather than just being okay with who they are. So they must fear something, right? That's the teachings of colonization, right? You must fear something.
Wake it up.
In order to be
wake it up,
controlled, and in order to be a part of society, right? Isn't there the famous king that said, or emperor, or whatever the fuck he was? He said, like, is it better to be feared or to be loved?
Mm-hmm.
right? Is Shakespeare, I think. Mayhaps. Maybe it actually happened. I don't remember. I learned it in school. See how bad our schools are?
Teacher didn't land it that day.
But yeah, I mean,
that it's actually attributed to the Machiavelli.
oh wow.
It is better to be feared than loved if you cannot be both.
Oh wow.
We've talked about this a lot here.
There's
I don't like it. People say that I'm intimidating. But if I had to choose being intimidating, I know you get this for people as well. We've often quote unquote intimidated people together. But I promise you, I would rather have that be the vibe than y'all saying and doing whatever the fuck y'all want to do. And by the way, while I'm here, because I didn't see a slide deck about this, I thought Tara and I would talk about this today, but here we are. Y'all stop putting your hands on people. No one knows if you washed your hands or wiped your nose or washed your hands after you took a piss. Like, stop putting your human hands on people you do not know or don't have consistent consent from that it's okay. It's really, really nasty and very, very rude.
And consistent consent requires asking every single time.
And consistent consent requires asking every time.
Every single time.
Every single time. Is it okay if I touch you? Tara and I both run vocal studios. We do not touch the students.
And I come from a world, y'all, where they teach you to touch your students, not like, I know that sounds really weird. And in the first couple of years that I taught,
we say touch your students for those of you who do not send us any kind of mail or complaints, even though we do have a complaint process. We're talking about applying physical hand touch to a student to teach them how to breathe or manipulate their voice or where things should feel. There are teachers, millions of them, who thousands, hundreds of thousands, who like to touch the student to teach them how to sing. Right. Keep going, Tara.
Right. And this was a method, I had teachers that would do it without asking. I have had teachers that asked first and got consent first. As I was taught, I in like the first couple years that I taught, there was like maybe 2 students that I said, hey, can I touch you? And then I shifted to, hey, if you're comfortable, you can feel it on me, right? And now I just do not do any of it. I'm like, this is what I feel, the description of what I feel. This is how I can give you some different ways to release it yourself. This is, other ways of people, the description that people have used to tell me what they're feeling, We've moved to the right hand. So we have ascended into enlightenment, according to the accompanist today. I think your fan just clicked in or something. It's like started raining on set, and I was like, "What is happening?"
AI sound stopped producing.
You said it's windy in here or something. There we go.
AI music said
bye.
Shh. Like it just thought. I guess it had a brain fart.
It had a lo-fi moment.
That music is AI generated, so it can't trigger any of the robots that were listening to like Beyonce or something in here, and right. You would thusly need to get paid.
Right.
To sue Kanye for talking shit about her kids, which was also not in the slide deck, but.
Well, then it's a short slide deck.
That's some crazy work. Look, we're on God-fearing people. Why not talk about Kanye? Why not? Angie said in the comments, over on
you should tell us if underwater people exist.
Angie from PA says she says we're all aliens. Think when a baby is forming, we grow eyes, arms, legs, a head, boy or girl parts. Sometimes both boy and girl parts for the intersex people out there in the world. Sometimes because no
sex
parts.
Sex is not a binary, folks. I don't know. We're liberated here. Sex is not a binary.
Yeah, human experience is very, very alien. I agree.
Alien. And they look like aliens when they're in the womb. You saw my child.
I would love to have lunch with a person from Atlantis.
Me too. Like that whole, was it a Disney movie? That Atlantis Disney movie? I really love that movie.
Yeah, we got to move forward to make it. Here we go.
This one's small. Can you make it big so I'll read it to the people?
That's what she said.
Piper smiled at that as well.
Oh no, no, no.
Piper just sees me laughing. Okay, unlearning people pleasing, unlearning the guilt of prioritizing, as Dr. Flo would say, myself, unlearning believing anxious thoughts, unlearning the instinct to fix what isn't mine to fix. One more time on that one. Unlearning the instinct to fix what isn't mine to fix, unlearning attachment to outcomes, and unlearning the patterns that keep me small.
Here.
I saw it. I don't even know when I reposted it, but I saw it and I was like, I got to bring it because this is Dr. Flo was leaning into this podcast, was talking about the ways in which he's changing. And we talked about it a little bit on here, changing how he acts in. I know it's a big light, but you can't have it, baby. Excuse me. That's not very nice. Piper's like, it is nice, Mom. Oh, we got to go get the bottle. Anyway, so Dr. Flo was talking about the ways in which he intends to show up or doesn't want to show up in that way anymore. And I think it's important to talk about that. It's okay to prioritize yourself. And that's, you know, in the voice studio, and I don't talk about my voice studio a ton, y'all, and I'm trying to get better about that. And I'm going to get better about that.
It's a great
because I need to talk about it in a liberated sense.
I'll hear how I blow.
Here you go. There you go. Because Dr. Flo is going to make a method unless I talk about it.
I will literally write the forward to it until you find someone bigger and brighter that can get you bigger numbers. But I will write.
But anyway, I think one of the things that we talk about a lot is that, like, you can't hate yourself for taking yourself seriously, for prioritizing yourself, for all of the learning that you did, that you were people pleasing, that we're now unlearning, right? And then the instinct to fix what isn't mine to fix. Oh my gosh, y'all, that is like
bars.
That's about the freaking world right now.
That's bars.
Some of this isn't yours to fix, even if it's brought to your doorstep.
Black people have made that clear. The black people darker than the paper bag, have made it very, very clear that y'all are in a hypnotic rhythm that is not respectful, loving, or kind, and we will know when we need to mount the wings of the morning and do justice. We will know. Black people will give each other a look in any location. It's true.
Anybody with a significant amount of black, okay? Look. There was this thread. Portia, I think Portia posted on it. Anyway, it was like, I haven't given anybody a judging look in a while, and it was just all these pictures of black women with their judging faces on, and I laughed my ass off. Because we've all seen it, okay? But yeah, it's not ours to fix. There's so much that's not ours to fix. And you know what is yours to fix? The only thing that is yours to fix.
Man in the mirror, lady in the mirror, gays and theys in the mirror.
Them gays and theys.
Them gays and theys.
So funny.
Them gays and theys. Look out for them gays and theys.
That's it. But that's it. So it don't matter if it rolls up to your door and so-and-so is crying about losing their boyfriend and, you know, oh, la, da, 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 and, oh, you know, the Department of Education, and, oh, no, the grants are frozen, and, oh, no, the art. And, you know, I know all this is going on, but you know what? I also understand that I can't fix it. Like Dr. Flo says all the time, I can sing some damn pretty songs and I can facilitate the look out of some spaces. That is what I can do.
Spaces in their places.
That is what I can do.
I should not be doing brain surgery. I should not be, like, there's a lot of things out here that I'm not supposed to be doing, but the things that I'm supposed to do, I'm committed to doing them well. Once again, we're unlearning these attachments to outcomes and patterns that keep us small or playing small. No mas. Because you're going to go through it once.
No mas.
All right.
Sky Daddy.
We're going to say, we talked a little bit earlier about Sky Daddy. I just want to talk about the drama of Sky Daddy. And the reason why I'm bringing it up this week, and I didn't want to bring the video in here. It's on Threads, and if you're nosy and want me to send it to you, I can. But it was a video of a caretaker. I won't say that this was this kid's mom or auntie or grandma. I don't know who this person was, but this was a caretaker to a kid.
Okay.
Who was on top of a man who looked in the video initially like he was sleeping. But as you begin to listen to what's going on, it is this caretaker in the room of a bunch of other adults telling this child that daddy is unalived. Trigger warning.
Okay.
But the way she's explaining it to the kid, like that, he's like, "Is daddy okay?" And she's like, "He's not your daddy anymore." And then she's like, and then the kid's like, what do you mean he's not my daddy anymore? And then she's like, he is your daddy, but now he's in the sky. And the kid was like, so he's not my daddy? He is your daddy, he's just in the sky. And then the guy's like laying there, and I thought, looking at it, that it was a light-skinned nigga in bed, in the hospital bed.
But he was not alive.
No, daddy went to the sky. Tara, keep track.
But like, I didn't know if this was going into a joke or what. But okay.
No, there is no joke. It's that the kid, like the joke, and the people on the internet was like, life is a joke. What are you talking about? Life is a fucking joke. No, literally, people in the comments were like, number one, why are we watching this? This should not be something that we're witnessing. And so I didn't play the video today. I'm just telling you about it, but I can send it to you.
Okay.
I'll tell truth, no lies. So I got my receipts, and you never questioned it. It is just that, like, in those moments, y'all, instead of making your child who's going to have to go through a grieving process from being bedside to their dead father laying there, instead of taking them through the sky daddy and the kid went off to be with Jesus and all of this bullshit, how about we see what therapeutic options are available from the hospital or from community care, and let that child talk to a grief counselor about having to live their life without their daddy being physically focused and present. I was like, why would you play it this way? Like, why would you explain it in a weird way that the kid didn't understand, instead of just like, people die. Like, how do you intend, I know it's too soon to call it, but how do you intend to explain the ways that birds, cats, polar bears, and everybody other thing in here can die, but humans is just like, ooh, we never talk about a panda going to see Scott to go into Jesus. You never
talk about dogs going over a rainbow bridge.
I mean, dogs go to heaven. I know all that bullshit, but like, you never. Well, what about the giraffe?
The giraffe. Oh,
Where does the giraffe?
It was his birthday a couple days ago.
Where do giraffes go?
His name is Finn. Anyway, there's a giraffe that just turned 1 the other day, and his name is Finn. Anyway, so happy birthday, Finn.
Finn.
I saw him.
May you live long, baby giraffe.
Highlands, Havens. I'll find the receipts.
What kind of cake does a giraffe baby get at 1 year?
It was a straw cake with some like carrot something. It was a lovely cake actually, and its mom ate it. So. And his mom's name is Harriet, in case anyone was wondering. I'm quite invested in the animal story.
You do. Tara has me watching on TikTok like these beautiful blue jays. Is she using a special camera, or like how is she filming those birds?
But I love it so much.
They're so beautiful.
The cardinals are gorgeous. So to get back on track,
I've fallen in love with blue jays again from watching that.
I have a blue jay that hasn't arrived yet, but my cardinals are here.
We have cardinals. We love them.
I love my cardinals. They sing to me a lot. Although I haven't seen the girl, I've just seen the boy so far. Anyway, so when it comes to death, I really think, and this is the same way I feel about sex. It's the same way I feel about genitals. It's the same way I feel about a lot of things that we hide in the United States. Okay. I think that if we were transparent about it, life would be better. I think it's weird that we try to hide it from people
Yeah.
when it's a natural occurrence of life. Like, I
Right.
think it's really weird when people are like, the birds and the bees and da 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 and that, like
We're gonna mention again in the spirit of that, Tara, that it's not the men that are comfortable with their sexuality that's killing the trans women. It's the DLs.
yeah, yeah,
It's the
exactly.
DL.
And so, like,
It's the
just like,
repressed sexual beings that cannot talk about the fact that they like chicks with dicks.
right,
So they're gonna kill them.
right. But I like
Shame.
when I think about, like the way that you're describing this video, it's because people are literally in cults. There is a lady on TikTok. Those of you that think that we're a cult, I really need you to go watch the knitting cult lady on the Tickety Talks. She knits and she tells you about cults. She has 2 books.
Oh.
One, Uncultured is the first one, and I can't remember what the second one is, but she was in some cult when she was a kid, and then she joined the U.S. Army, and she calls it a cult. And don't panic, everyone, because it is. Anyway, so but this whole thing, what I'm trying to get us to here is that, like, religions often try to hide, and the way that they function is in darkness.
When Jesus was the light of the world. Jesus is the light of the world, but the religious people function in darkness.
Right. And how are you going to tell your kid about death in the way that you just described, but yet you believe that Jesus died and came back again? Like, how are you going to have that discussion with your kid? And so for me, like, I
give him 3 days. You didn't give daddy 3 days to get up.
That part.
Where's your faith?
2 days, right?
Where's your faith?
I think real discussions about grief and real discussions about, and maybe they did go see a grief counselor, and this was the way that the grief counselor.
We only know what we saw, folks. So just take it. Don't send us no mail.
However, I just really believe in openness with kids. I believe in telling, like, my kids, okay, we call this a PP and we call this a VV. I don't know if we're going to get censored for that, but anyway, we call these things XYZ. We call these breasts. We call these nipples. We call these da 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 da. We call, when something stops breathing, we call it dying.
We call it dying.
Like, that's it. And then
there's dignity in dying. There's a dignity in living a life. There's a dignity in being born, to have lived here in our times, and to die. There's a dignity in that death.
Right. So I just believe in being honest with kids, because I have seen, I teach kids, and they know a lot more than y'all think they know. They just do. They just do. And no amount of protection that you try to give them is going to protect them from the things that happen on the reg. Okay. Let's do this. This is a little bit of a longer video. It's a 5-minute video, but she kind of repeats herself like 25,000 times. But anyway.
Fear revolution. It relies on revolution, right? To refresh its legitimacy.
Okay, so I take issue with the
The system doesn't fear revolution. It relies on revolution, right? To refresh its legitimacy.
Okay, so I take issue with the title. Someone sent this to me and they were like, I'd love to know what you think of this. So that video is amazing. You should watch it. He covers everything, I think. Saying beyond capitalism, and I'm not coming for this person. I think that we all think stuff like this. Almost setting it up as if it's sort of a valid premise and like it's a sort of a wall that we cannot get past. Like, how do we get past this? And in fact, it's a modern failure of like our reality, right? I think we all forget that, like, we are not all supposed to be doing something. And that's the problem with capitalism, is that it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And even when you ask people who are trying to be revolutionaries, like, the question will be, what would you do if you didn't have to work? And even asking that question is, of course, novel, and I love it, and I get the reason why, but it's actually like sort of bizarre on its own, if you really think about it. And I participate in conversations like this all the time, so I'm not making fun of it. More that we're so warped that we're like, well, what would you be doing with your time then? What are you gonna do with your time? Like, no, it's okay. Every moment of your time does not have to be taken up by doing something productive or doing anything at all. In fact, most of you would probably think about the jobs that most of us have. It's like we're fulfilling the dream of someone else and we're helping them hoard money is really what's happening, right? So we're all participating in our own oppression in one way or another. Like you heard about, you know, the insurance companies and all these insurance adjusters come out and say, oh my God, it's awful. I hate working this job. And like they need a job, so we get it. But they're also part of the maintenance of the oppression of other people not getting the insurance. And calling it capitalism, like, you know, you live in a global slavery. There's no other way around that. You get up in the morning to do stuff that you really don't want to do. And like maybe you convince yourself that you have. And some of you probably have stuff that you love doing, but do you like doing it every day and being on schedule and taking your lunch when you're told? Probably not. You really explore your dignity. You'll say like, wow, this is actually kind of demoralizing. I think that getting around capitalism requires us to be less self-important. And I think the reason that capitalism still stands is because we all have this feeling that we want to be superior over each other. Maybe not all of us, but most of us do in some way or another. And this is the easiest way to sort of like feel and gain that idea of superiority. Because the only reason that we don't stop and just sit down is because all these people are like, well, I already tried so hard. Like I already got into this, I've got all these degrees. What am I gonna, what if I 401k? So you're not gonna leave because you have the benefits and you're superior to someone else, right? And it's an underpinning of the entire society, and capitalism relies on this. The moment that you agree that your life is to be sold, like you're sold up the river, like you're done for, like it's over for you. You might as well like put yourself in a dog cage and lock it yourself. We have to do this. We do. Like I'm looking for a job right now. I feel like this whole thing is about our superiority complexes with one another. It's really like it's an internal evolution that has to happen. This is a weird example. I was watching Gladiator, the second one, Don't Waste Your Time. And I was watching and I was thinking, we really used to go to places and like embarrass ourselves with like watching people lose their lives. And I realized like obviously humanity is evolving in lots of ways, but our empathy is slowly evolving. And I think more and more of us now understand that we're not supposed to be living this way. I think that we've also been convinced, like if you've ever grown food, this is something that will be helpful for you to know. I did a couple summers ago. The amount of effort and labor involved, like things can go wrong, right? So large scale farming makes sense, but like I don't think people realize that small amounts of effort can produce a lot of result for lots of people. And the only reason it feels different is because wealthy people are hoarding effort and resource and directing it into their own aims. Whereas if we practice this on our own, a lot of you guys would be like, community, like what are you gonna do? What's your job? What's this? And you guys are very like exacting about what everyone's gonna do because you're paranoid and you're kind of lazy too. You will not do anything unless you know that other people are putting in the same exact effort as you. Who's getting, are you getting 15 beans? I want 15 beans. You know, it's like this weirdness that's going on is what I think makes our lives worse. I don't care if there's like a bummy weirdo in my community. Like I'll handle the food, but like you do that. Like, you know what I mean? Also, there can be people there who don't do anything, like children or people like that. Sometimes it's just a fact of life. I feel like we're in this weird supremacy culture where we're not understanding that. Even though we have like trans people and we have people diverging from all sorts of things. Is it divulging or diverging? It's as if we will not address the fundamental thing that's keeping us enslaved, which is our slave labor system. Like you don't need to be doing this at all, like truthfully. And I know that sounds like, oh my God, hippie revolutionary shit. It's not. I said this before. If I wanted to build a house, it would take me a certain amount of time. To buy the house would take me fucking 10 years of my life. I might as well just go build the house myself. You know what I mean? Like we've been traded off with these coins of like, here, you get the job. It's just a trick. It's like a little cage that you were led into and you're just believing in it because it looks real and everyone else thinks it's real. But as soon as we all say this is not real, then the illusion shatters and like it's the emperor's new clothes all over again. Like that I really think it's as easy as that, but it's also a lot of deconstructing within yourself to not feel like you have to have something that makes you feel better than other people. You know, it's exploring yourself in a real way. So much more to say, but this is getting long. Yeah, go watch this video. And this is what I mean. Like when you talk about capitalism, it's like, it could go this way, it could go, it's convoluted. Like, I don't care. When someone's explaining the stock market, I don't care. Like, why are the systems that we're living in so complicated that even us who are forced to live within them cannot understand them? Like, why are we accepting this? If it's not this difficult, someone is making it that way for us. Last thing I want to say, capitalism will go down as one of humanity's greatest failures. Just like keeping women oppressed, and these things all go together, right? They're here for a reason. It will be looked upon as like a sort of dark age of humanity. Maybe even darker than the actual dark ages. Because we have all this technology, all this knowledge. To my point in the beginning, it is designed to fail. I believe that's what it's for. It's presenting the human condition as a failure and that it needs more to exist, when in fact it's just a natural occurrence. Just like anything else, birds, bees, flowers, and the trees. Thanks for listening to my TED Talk.
The system doesn't fear revolution.
I enjoy that. She is a chatterbox, but so am I. She left no crumbs.
Yeah, I again, it's a longer
We
video,
have to eventually be who we say we are.
right? And I invite you all to like go find this video and watch it, because I think both the creator that is stitched on this video, so the dude at the beginning, has some really interesting takes in terms of politics and on capitalism. But I also think that this take by her is like, again, no crumbs. I think it's really interesting. You know, we're getting the Enlightenment track in the background again. I think it's very interesting that she says, you know, essentially like we don't have to do it, like, and that humanity is a naturally occurring thing. The thing that's not naturally occurring is us doing what we're doing to each other in capitalism. And I really enjoyed the simplicity, but yet the depth of what she's saying, right? And again, it might take y'all a couple times to like digest, but you have to be open to listening to something like that. You know, opening to receive the message.
Yeah, she's right. The stock market doesn't affect us, so why should it have such an impinging weight on the ways in which we live our lives? You got 9 minutes on the clock before you got to go teach, so let's rock and
9
roll.
minutes until Daddy gets home. I have 39 until teaching. But anyway, this says, because I do feel like Dr. Flo mentioned earlier trans people, and I am determined that I'm going to bring something about trans people every single week, because trans people exist and have the right to exist, and leave them alone. But so this says, it's a response to someone, but I thought the end was interesting. So it says, exactly, trans and non-binary identities are far from new. The West's obsession with categorization, controlling, and pathologizing what has always existed says more about its own limitations than anything else. Many cultures had, and still have, fluid, expansive understandings of gender long before colonial interference tried to erase them. The issue isn't trans people. It's the West's small-minded need to problematize humanity instead of accepting it was never the blueprint for existence in the first place. I'm gonna read y'all that one more time. Make it big one more time. That last sentence. The issue isn't trans people. It's the West's small-minded need to problematize humanity instead of accepting it was never the blueprint for existence in the first place. It's never the blueprint for existence in the first place.
It is the othering itself that makes religion successful. You have to have an out crowd for that system to work. If it were truly inclusive, it would be something that we would enjoy. But we're working on it in our own special way. Which brings me to this week's section of Love and Truth. I'm going to do a separate video to file this week's report and the ongoing reports. Reverend Lester Smith has reached out to me via phone call. I do take phone calls, but I don't take cold calls. And there are particular people in town that I will only speak with in the company of a Love and Action Network representative. It's not that you may not be the person that you say you are. It is more that for the work that we're doing to help to serve 1 in 6 hungry people here, the houseless people who are here, those who are suicidal, those who lack proper health care, I mentioned the people who are hungry, those who lack adequate transportation services, those who lack programs and mentorship to help them grow and build their lives into the next tax bracket. Those kinds of conversations have to happen, folks, in a container of productivity. I'm not interested in you liking me. I'm not interested in you getting to know me better. I've got a resume and receipts. I got decades of YouTube that will tell you the truth about who the fuck I is. So if you want to get to know me, get on my YouTube and catch tea. If you want to build something or help me build something in this community, 27292, and to have it structured in a way that's productive for everybody, you're going to see Praolo, you're going to see my husband in the meeting, you're going to see a bunch of people around that'll just clock in tea to make sure that we're really about love and truth. So Lester, I've returned an email to you and also text you. You have not texted me back yet. But when you do text me back, I'm going to tell you that there's an email chain and we're trying to find when you're best available so that Tara and I and the other team members can be in the room to actually talk about what we want to build here with truth and solidarity and love. But you're not going to call me and tell me anything that can't be said in front of my team. And so all of you should be aware that a Love and Action Network representative will be on the line with me going forward because we need to have one love and one truth. Caitlin Williams Cole, the curator of the local museum, also hit me up this week back. She was one of the 2 of 26 people. 24 did not reach back, including the mayor pro tem, my council person, the Human Relations Committee, and many other local representatives, pastors, and news outlets didn't say boo to me this week. But Reverend Lester Smith did call. I don't take cold calls because people like to ambush with information that I do not care about as it relates to feeding the 1 in 6 people here in Lexington. Okay, I don't care about the whispers. I don't care about who said what. I don't care how y'all feel about me. I don't care about none of that shit. We got people to feed and to serve and to build a choir with and to elevate storytelling and joy in this community that I think is lacking, folks. But the museum curator over at the courthouse reached out to me, and basically she can't be of no help to me, y'all, because everything that I want to do, she's already doing at her level with the library. And so if that's what you're doing, and that's going to check the boxes, and that's going to satisfy this community, then that's wonderful. You all 26 of y'all, and more to come, I'm about to talk about Harrison, more to come, are going to support what it is that I'm doing. And yes, Caitlin, when I mentor people in this community and when I love on them deeply, they will come back to your library that's empty. And they will come back to the programs that you want to happen, and it will flourish and thrive. But things are moving very slowly here because you told me in an email all the ways in which you already have it going on, girl, and y'all don't have it going on, girl. But whatever. In your own way you do, loved and lovable. Bless the children. Bless the children. Bless the children. The children here have raccoons in their living room. Bless the children. And they're so sad in the high school because Justice Charles McNair wants to give $1,100 of a scholarship to one exceptional Negro in the name of the nigga who's in jail once again. And every black and brown kid and every poor white kid in this community deserves money and time, talent, and treasure. Get it together. But over at the library, I was informed this week, Tara, as you know, Tara just holds witness and stands by to watch me do love and truth. And she does love and truth too in her community. We're just people who are out here busting ghosts. Talking about. And I've been told, y'all, that the very quiet videos I do in the library when I'm saying Charles has been in jail for over 44 years, and I'm one of 250 voice choir, and where's Joe? When I go in there and I say, where's Governor Stein, and where are the believers, and where are the real Christians here? She's told me that because I'm whispering low enough in her library that I'm allowed to continue. She gave me permission. She gave me permission to speak in a public space about love and truth. Girl, I don't need your permission. I don't need to be sanctioned for love and truth. And the people who you support in emails, who I'm not going to name anymore, I'm going to let them wither on the vine. But the people who are your artists in residence are people who lie to get ahead. And ain't no love and truth in that shit at all. But let's not end on a sour note. I met a gentleman this week named Harrison. who wants to build another rehabilitation facility here in town. He has an amazing story and a podcast that's coming out. He's also opening a grocery store down in the main village. And he seems like he wants to continue to grow and build in love and community. And he has said that he wants to be welcoming of local entrepreneurs and all people from all walks who want to make this place a joyful place to live in. I'm hooking my kite and my love energy into wins like that. Okay? But everybody else in the email did not respond to me. I look forward to talking to Lester on behalf of his organization and other matters in town. I look forward to, as I return the email, to not talk about bullshit and bullshit people, but to get the historical context of what's actually going on here and the whole story of actually why Charles has been in jail for 44 years plus. And why, while I was trying to find out stories about Charles being in jail, no one told me about this mysterious hanging of this black woman in the community in recent past named Kendra. And in the same way they don't talk about Breonna Taylor, they don't talk about Kendra here either. And I cannot hear back from the local NAACP about my black ass. Suba. So we will continue to tarry and wait on the Lord and be of good courage, and he will strengthen our heart, Tara. We will continue to wait on the Lord and be of good courage, and he or she will strengthen our hearts. We will continue to speak ceasefire now. I cannot believe they started back up this bullshit war against people. This is not about y'all can call it resources and territory and all this stuff. Y'all are actually standing back and watching and saying, I don't know how to feel about it, as people are being blown to bits. If you're wondering what you were doing if you were wondering what you would have been doing during Jim Crow, if you're wondering what you would have been doing during the Holocaust, if you're standing back like, oh Lord, this is terrible. Like I wonder what I would have been doing when exactly what you're doing now. Exactly what you're doing now. And you have the opportunity to do different. I've been talking for a long time, Tara. What say you about local activism and global activism?
I have a couple thoughts. And number one, with this ceasefire now, it is never too late to say this. It is never too late. You can change your mind. You could have had one opinion all the way up until the initial ceasefire papers were agreed upon. And now that it started up, you can have the other opinion. You can say ceasefire now. I put it in my stories the other day that I really struggle with y'all that are still thinking that this is over 1,600 people or 1,200 people or whatever it was at the beginning in the 200 hostages. It's a weird thing to believe that 40,000 plus people should die because 1,600 people were killed or taken from another country. That's weird. It's also weird to believe
biblical. The old biblical bullshit says an eye for an eye. So if we were going biblically in Torah, an eye for an eye, it would be whatever that number would be. I don't think that's right, but that's what biblical justice would be.
Agreed.
What we're seeing is active genocide and obliteration of brown people.
Agreed. And I just, even during the ceasefire, when the ceasefire was quote unquote holding, even though it wasn't really ever holding, y'all just liked to ignore it until 400 more people were bombed and killed.
If holding people's food and water is not a ceasefire.
Right. What I noticed was Hamas would release 2 hostages and Israel would release hundreds of Palestinian prisoners that were there without trial, without reason, just taken because they were Palestinian. And again, back to the eye for an eye, like if y'all want to talk about that, that's cool, fine, let's talk about it. But let's talk about how the reason that y'all think that this is still eye for an eye, even though it's been 40,000 plus, is because y'all don't believe that black and brown people are human. And until you're ready to have that conversation, we can't have any other conversation. There is no room for another conversation.
They know. Wait. They know that they're human. They intentionally disavow their humanity. This is a choice.
Right.
Humans recognize other humans' bodies. I cry on stage every day and every week because I can close my eyes and see Gaussian children blown to bits. Blown to bits. Right. Children blown to bits. So let's push past you. That's your ministry. You can talk to those people that need to recognize and acknowledge for the first time that other humans are humans. That's a specific place in ministry as well. I posit that they know the humanity and they say these people deserve what they're getting. And that's fucked up. As you feed your baby, it's fucked up. Moving forward. Oh yeah, go ahead, baby. I don't want to be a dominant voice.
No, I just
want to dom in the bedroom, not in the conversation.
As for local activism, it goes right back to the dehumanization and the choice to A, think that you're exempt, and B, y'all really love to try and tell people, and this is what I've been on about since forever. Y'all really try to tell people who the hell they are. You really try to give them an identity. And when they say they are not the identity that you prescribe to them, you get angry. And then you say, that's not activism. You're just reaching for a new identity. Y'all, if you think that these rich, white, cisgender, heterosexual men are not coming for you too, you have another thing coming. That's ridiculous. Join a cause. Whatever it is.
And if y'all are not sure, what it looks like, because some people disconnect, because I almost just did, Tara, with this, when you were going in, they're going to come for you too. Like, what does that actually look like for y'all? What that looks like is that your rights will be basically dismantled and taken from you a little at a time. And just in the ways that you are now afraid, because it's a propaganda that, like, if activists go into the street, they're going to be harmed. So there's no space that's still coexisting in society for people to peacefully protest. That's all being pushed into the house. And so that becomes a space where everyone's then in the house. Martial law is happening, maybe not directly in the streets, but in the minds of people. And then when something really bad happens, everyone's afraid of the militarized police in militarized cop cities shooting you with rubber bullets a la Washington State protest to harm. And so that's what it looks like when Tara's saying the white man or the white man in power will come to get you. It's not.
And it's the Department of Education. It's the dismantling of the Department of Education. It's the dismantling of USAID.
That's just so that people will be so dumb. They look to a celebrity or industry plant to tell them how to think about the political regime that's trying to take over forever. Come on, folks. Let's come clean about what's actually going on here. Like, if you continue to believe the lie that we as citizens don't outnumber the po-po-ho, then you will continue to be afraid. If good people continue to believe that they're outnumbered by bad actors, that's how we get into the fear and paranoia thing. But on every block of every country, in the whole world, the society is being held together by good people who want to do right by each other. We only have these large buffoons that ascend to the throne because it sells news. That's it. So don't get caught up in the propaganda. Watch your back and know your community. But I told y'all at the beginning of this podcast, black people are chilling right now because we know that when the look happens, we're going to go Alabama shoreline on that ass. Black people hold back. We are respectful, Tara. We are respectful people. We are a respectful people. And so we're not afraid of what
everybody. To everybody.
We are a
Everybody.
respectful people. To everybody. Except when you start showing your ass on Alabama shorelines. Then it turns into a different party. And nobody in America wants that particular kind of party. Not a single white person, especially poor white people, and all black and brown people do not want that kind of problem or war. That's what's happening on the news to sell Tide with bleach, bitch. They're selling Cascade to you as he's warmongering and fearing. The real ones are not afraid. Thank you for the Cash App, Jimmy Jams. We love our supporters. You got a shout out on the podcast. I'll send you a copy. But yeah, we are not afraid because we know love. And we know that we outnumber the people who are whispered in corners. Remember, y'all, I've only met 24 people in power here in this town. There's 16,000 people in there. I'm sorry, 19,000 people in there. And let me tell you one more thing. There's 19,000 people in there. My post to get help in this town for social justice causes did not get approved in that open forum Facebook group that has 2,000 people in it. So y'all are 2,000 people who are open in your forum and open talking about Davidson County in your little gossip club, but everybody in Davidson County ain't in that Facebook group, and my post did not get approved, which means that y'all in your open forum are fucking liars too. So I don't know what y'all talking about in there other than cupcakes, but it ain't love and truth. We're running Adopt a Black Artist program right now in our network. We're featuring amazing people. Check our social media for that. If you're interested in being supported as a black and brown artist, we would love to put your ornament on our year-round tree. Tara is currently raising money monthly, $200 a month to support 2 students that are in her music program. The family fell on hard times and now they need support. So if you would like to be out there and support those students and contribute even $2 towards these kids who are amazing artists that you hear in some of her social, just go to Tara Praolo Studio, at Tara Praolo Studio on all major platforms. Click through her link in bios and consider sponsoring these students.
And can I just say one update? So I gave an update on Maya, who booked Matilda, which I'm super proud of them for that. But Izzy, Maya's sister, the older sister, and one of the 2 students that we're talking about here, booked a number of roles in SpongeBob, and we just started that work last Monday. So she just told me in person on Monday all of the roles that she will be playing over the next couple months inside of the musical SpongeBob, which is super, super exciting. And I'm actually sending them another audition posting for, I can't remember what it's for, but it's for the summer, Mary Poppins. So hopefully they'll find something to do in that over the summer.
A spoonful of sugar helps the medicine go down.
It does. Supercalifragilistic.
And I did not know that you sourced auditions for your kids as well, which makes you a full wraparound studio.
I see them. I'm in the theater groups on Facebook, so when I see them, I send them to my students. If you are one of my students, you do receive a monthly newsletter that has that information typically at the bottom of any competitions or auditions that are happening.
Jimmy Jams just blessed me on Cash App. So shout out to Jimmy Jams, shout out to Loretta, shout out to Angie, everybody who loves us. I turn that money into either romaine lettuce or the lettuce you can smoke. Okay? And so I'm grateful for all lettuce. I love romaine. I love arugula. I love iceberg. I love indica and sativa. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Jimmy Jams. Thank you, Jimmy Jams. I appreciate you. I really do. Where's my slide deck? I'm now hiring folks to be a part of something bigger than themselves. If you're interested in using your time, talent, and treasure to join a diverse group of artists to celebrate the power of love through music, theater, and arts, we're going to rise up and have a love revival in this town. Folks like Jimmy Jams contribute to our joy and contribute to the love experience. I cannot wait to send Jimmy Jams a program one day that has his I can put Jimmy Jams in it, but I also know his government because he contributes to me, and I cannot wait to send him something really, really special for donating into the Love Experience show and helping us go global and being a bridge. You know, it's important that we help one another, and Jimmy Jams always does. And I'm just super grateful. And so I cannot wait to send commemorative programs and just a credit for being so awesome. And if y'all want to audition for the show locally and online, we have open mic nights coming up, poetry nights. I'm going to be producing online cabarets again, featuring some of my newest students in my vocal academy and clinic. If you'd like to audition to come into our vibration of love and support and hope, hope is a big deal. And we serve on TikTok and Facebook and YouTube and Instagram and beyond to be a vessel and a space for hope. You know, you may not be getting hope in your everyday life, and you may not be getting hope with everybody, but you're going to get hope with us here, and not fake hope, real shit. And I'll teach you how to release your voice also in my studio. For more details of how to apply to my studio and also my rates, go to lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link, lovedandlovable.bio.link. Closing thoughts.
Do it.
Tara Praolo. Closing thoughts.
I think that it is bold for people to show up and share with you their dreams. I think that it is bold when people show up and sell their services at whatever the price. I think that it is bold to show up and be themselves. And I think that more of us should be open to hearing and giving feedback, positive feedback, about the things and the ways in which people are being bold in their lives. And I think we would have a little bit of a better society. I yield.
I appreciate you, Tara. I appreciate you, Jimmy. I appreciate Angie. I appreciate Her Story True, CC, Loretta, like the whole network that's coming together to support what it means to be loved and lovable in our daily lives. We use the chakras every day to have happiness and healthiness and freedom in our path. We meet now that I'm out of TikTok jail, although I'm about to go back. They hit me with a restriction just now for talking about my lettuce. So I may not be here for very much longer. Y'all know Dr. Flo stays in a censorship jail. But who wants to be on a motherfucker that where you can't talk the way you want to talk and be who you want to be in the world? I'm loved and lovable, bitch. Keep the kids out my podcast. This is for adults, grown and sexy people. People who want great sex, great food, and great adventures until we leave this motherfucker. That's Dr. Flo. And on behalf of me, my words are my own. They do not reflect the views and opinions of other people who are affiliated with me. I'm me, y'all. Tara's Tara. Tara Praolo Studio. Poppy speaks for Poppy. We learned that again today on TikTok. Poppy talks for Poppy. I don't talk for Tara. Tara don't talk for me. We don't talk for each other. And this bitch, I said what I said. He said what he said. She said what she said. Clock it, Angie. And on behalf of the individual entities, Poppy Water 33, Tara Praolo Studio, Andre in the Flow, and then what we do together, Song, Smile, Support, and Shenanigans at Love and Action Network. We invite you, as always, to stay in your power, stay in your joy, stay loved and lovable, and we'll see you very, very soon around our network. Consider joining our WhatsApp groups, the Discord groups, and also come and hang out with us on TikTok, Twitch, Bigo, and Instagram throughout your days. You're amazing. Take care.